Hello friends, hello beautiful souls. Welcome to my channel. I wanted to create this little video to talk a little bit about myself, my journey with breathwork, how I came to be here on YouTube, and really just to give a little bit more information about who's this person behind the screen who's guiding you through all of these beautiful experiences. So, my name is Jenny. I have a very strange accent. I know a lot of people ask me if I'm American or Canadian, but the truth is, I don't really know where to say that I'm from. So I was actually born in England, but I never lived there, so I really don't feel any connection with that. I moved when I was about 3 months old to Scotland. And I was in Scotland for about 5 years. Then I was living in Saudi Arabia for 3 years, 3.5 years. Then I moved back to Scotland. And then when I was, I think 14, we moved to New Zealand. And I was there till I was 25 until I decided to come back to Europe. And I've been in Europe for, gosh, like 10 years now. Living in Germany for the last 8 years. I lived in the Netherlands. So my accent is its own kind of entity. It does its own thing. So I know that people ask me all this all the time, so I wanted to offer that to you. Now, speaking a little bit about my journey with breathwork and my journey with yoga, it all really began in 2018. And that was when I finally hit the wall. I finally burnt out. I was working a corporate job at the time. In Germany, I was, looking after a lot of topics. Essentially, I was doing more than one job, which is something that seems to be a normal thing that happens in today's society, and it's something that I personally really don't agree with. And was finding that the company where I was working, it starts becoming so much more about the profit than the people. Whereas my beliefs are when we invest in people, when we nurture people, people will create the profit naturally. So rather than, making budget cuts and all of these things, I really believe that we should be putting people first. And that still stays in my current business, in my coaching business, with breathwork, with yoga, with all of these little things that I do. I put people over profit, people over popularity, people over pedestaling. I'm here for the people. And so winding it back to 2018, I had this burnout, and it really knocked me back quite a lot, both physically, energetically, emotionally. But what it was the catalyst for my spiritual journey. And so, although I had some time off work and all of these things, there's a lot of details that go into this that we don't need to get into, but it really brought me to yoga. And the first yoga that I started with was actually Ashtanga yoga, which may seem a little strange if you know yoga, because Ashtanga yoga is very regimented, it's quite disciplined, it's very structured, so it feels like, it's kind of like I'm taking this push, like very structured what I had in corporate and putting it into my new way, let's say. But that's actually exactly what I needed at the time. I needed something where I could go and the movements, the asana, the postures are the same every time. It's consistent, but it kept me really grounded. I think if I'd started by going into loads of vinyasa classes and all sorts of things, like even a yin class, like it wouldn't have worked for me at that time because my nervous system was so dysregulated that it didn't feel safe in softness. It didn't feel safe in like all of the new and the fun. It felt safe knowing what was going to be happening each time. So that's really where my spiritual journey began. And I dove into loads of books with Dr. Joe Dispenza, Bruce Lipton. I was also looking at Tony Robbins back then, who I don't resonate so deeply with anymore, but started this spiritual personal growth journey way back in 2018. And breathwork began to enter my life through the yoga and through starting to explore having a little bit more fun with my life. So before I was really focused on work, and then I started to go to festivals and experience different music and to travel for more fun, because before I would travel a lot for work. but it was for work. So it's, you know, you're going to amazing cities, you're going to Barcelona, you're going to Madrid, you're going to London, you're doing all the things, but there is such a business helmet on that it restricted me from fully being alive and fully connecting with myself and who I was. Like, I didn't know who I was without my job. And so that's been a really, really big learning. And a part of that was exploring music, exploring dancing, exploring having fun in completely different ways. And it was at a festival that I really discovered breath work on a deeper level. So kind of going outside of those paradigms of just pranayama and ancient tradition, and kind of weaving in that, you know, modern day neuroscience, modern day music, all of those things. And from there I was kind of hooked. And I would tell you, it's maybe difficult to believe sometimes, but I used to be terrified of public speaking, of teaching. Like, I thought, I want to do this, but how do I even get myself to be in front of a group of people, leading them through such a powerful practice and leading them through their transformations? And so this was really my initiation and my, again, like another catalyst to begin to do my inner work and my inner love, and to start connecting with those patterns that were making me feel uncomfortable to be on stage. Like, even in the corporate job, being on Zoom with people or Teams or whatever it was we used felt very uncomfortable for my body. And it was a very interesting thing, because I knew logically in my mind, like, I know what I'm talking about, I know what to say, like, it's all gonna be fine, but my body would respond completely different. And I felt very betrayed by my body in these moments. You know, you start like sweating and the face goes red and like clammy hands and the voice is trembling. But as I said, that was a beautiful initiation for me to step into this role of teacher and of leader, in a sense, and to be able to even be in front of a camera like this. And while, yes, there are still some kind of, let's say, resistances that arise when I do this, I still don't love to be on camera and I don't love to be the center of attention. I have now grounded myself enough in my mission, in my vision, in what I want to bring to the planet. And that has been what drives me into stepping into these spaces, which still feel quite uncomfortable sometimes. But I know that the more that I do this, the softer that is going to feel, and the more expansive I will feel, and the more my body will get on board with what the mission actually is. Now, I want to talk about soul body breath. While I'm here, it would make sense that I would come in and speak about my breathwork modality. And even that feels a little strange to say, I must say, to say it's my breathwork modality, because I really believe in respecting and honoring the lineages, right? So for me, that's from pranayama, that's going back to yoga, that's where my training is. And I believe that we need to continue to honor what has come before us and give thanks to the teachers that come before us. And so that's something that I'm very passionate about in all of my soul body breath classes. But soul body breath is really a modern adaptation of pranayama. It's taking different elements of pranayama and modernizing them, right? We are meant to evolve, we are meant to create new ways, because we as a species, we are evolving all the time. And so soul body breath weaves in elements like beautiful music soundtracks that can be completely different. It can be a piano track, an ambient sound, electronic music, maybe hang drums. Like, there's so much that we can weave into the journey with music that helps us to evoke an emotion that connects with us in a completely different way, right? Music has the ability to conjure up feelings and allow us to express those feelings just from hearing certain sounds, certain tones. It's magical. And then we have quantum meditation, which is also my signature meditation. So this is a meditation that has also arisen from my yogic lineage. We are using a beautiful part of yogic wisdom from the Upanishads. We're talking about the golden egg. We are using the body, we're using sensations. We are starting to connect with our desires, our next steps, with our missions, with our truths through the body, and using the quantum field and that portal that lives within all of us to access the quantum field through the body. I don't know if that makes sense. I just kind of went blah, 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 so I hope that makes sense. So soul body breath is really this beautiful adaptation. Now, here on this channel, if you're still here and you're still listening, I am hoping to, not hoping, there's no hoping. I am intending to bring more breath work to you, to make breath work accessible, where it feels safe, where it feels in integrity, where it feels like it's really going to support you with whatever you need in the moment. So as this library grows here, I'm really excited to hear your thoughts and hear your feedback. With that being said, I'm also looking forward to bringing a little bit more information in here around breathwork and the potency of breathwork and the latest research on breathwork. And let's talk about it. Let's talk about breathwork and trauma. Let's talk about the different kinds of breathwork that there are out there. Let's talk about the contraindications. Who is it safe for? Who is it not safe for? Let's bust some of those myths that are out there around breathwork. So there's also going to be some kind of videos like that coming through as well. And I will still be continuing to bring you some yoga videos, whether that's going to be, monthly or, sometimes every few weeks. To be honest, I don't have like a structure for this channel. I know I want to show up every week at least, but I like to keep the space a little bit more open because that's just the nature of who I am. I love having the structure. I love to be here, but committing sometimes, I'm a one-woman show over here. I do everything myself. And so it's also just honoring myself and my body and my time and energy. And that fluctuates a lot, like throughout the month. Being a woman, there's a lot that happens in my body. And so yoga, let's see how often, but at least once a month, I'm going to be sharing some yoga videos with you. And yeah, I think that's all. I'm so happy that you're here. I am looking forward to getting to know you better, whether that is just through comments or whether you want to join on Patreon, which is also very new for me. So bear with me with all of these new things. I am not a tech savvy lady. I am at 35, you would think, still a millennial, should still be getting all of these things. I'm a person that I think I'm just this old soul. I prefer the simplicity over the rest of it, and I do find tech a little challenging sometimes, so bear with me. I'm really happy you're here, and we'll see you in the comments.